I got a new game.
Yay! Let's play a game.
So excited! I don't know if you guys have seen these. It's the to hunt a killer. Ooh, and murder mystery, your own little private clue game. It's so exciting.
We love crime shows.
Yes.
And we like games. Tiffany loves games.
Right? Charlotte puts up with me in my games.
I like games.
Everybody puts up with me in my games.
When I win.
That's a true story.
Okay, so we found a game to review. So it's not just that we're going to play a game for you. This game's out there. I think it's being promoted as a date night and all these cute things. And so some of those crime-solving puzzle mystery, murder mysteries.
All right, and this is also one of those where you can subscribe and they'll send them to you every month also.
See, that might be worth the money.
Right.
Be like, honey,
right,
date night.
Every month you have a date night. I was really surprised at how teeny tiny
I know, that's a really skinny game.
So let's take a peek. I love that it's blood splatter.
It's so awesome. Tiffany's like, this is my new wallpaper.
I know, right? I have a pair of bloody stilettos. I feel like I should be wearing them right now.
All right.
A pin. Ooh, you get a little lapel pin going on.
We're our own crazy club of murder mystery solvers.
All right. To complete this episode, examine all documents and items for clues. Check the Codence Theater website. Check virtual. I don't understand that.
I don't know, but it says something about hints, recaps, and solutions with this whole code. So if you scan hey dude, we're stuck, that's kind of nice because I don't know how good these things are gonna be.
Okay, hold on.
This is
curtain call. Episode 1. This month your package contains.
Oh crap! Do we have to keep going before we get all the items?
I don't know how many months it takes to
Okay, this could be a problem.
Already right there, I had no clue that it did things like that. Okay.
So you gotta really look at these subscription things and see what are you getting yourself into, because if this isn't a full game, we might have a problem right here.
I don't think it is. I have a PI letter, a Julia letter, a forensic report, an active
attic inventory.
Attic inventory.
Yeah, help her out.
Yeah, program, Ruth, note, whatever. Yeah, episode 1.
All right, welcome to Hunt a Killer. Hunt a Killer is unlike any game you have played before, a mystery that unravels through classic detective work and puzzle solving. Here are some tips. Dedicate a space to play. You'll need to keep your evidence organized for future reference. Don't lose anything and don't throw out previous episodes.
Alright, so lesson 1. This is a process.
Okay, take notes. Construct a timeline of events and profile of each character. If a crime has been committed, focus on means, motive, and opportunity.
Just like CSI.
All right, it's not a race. Instead of rushing to complete the objective, examine every item and read each document carefully. Let yourself become a character in this gripping adventure. So then you get to join us. Share your theories, get early access to new products and features, and solve bonus riddles and ciphers by joining hundreds of thousands of other members here. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Oh my gosh, so this is
oh my goodness.
Did you ever get to find the killer?
I don't know yet. Yeah, will this be solved?
So this is all just evidence. We just have documents. We just have documents to look through.
Here's our document file.
Alrighty.
Alright, so we're gonna take a minute and examine our evidence and check back in to see what we're phase 1? How many phases is this gonna...
Whoa, they really sealed that evidence. Alright, we have opened up so many envelopes.
Alright, we have answers!
Well,
sort of.
We don't have answers.
We have answers to how the game works, even though we don't know the answer yet.
Right, not yet.
Which is really good, because we've been here for a little while going through all the evidence and we don't have an answer, which means this is going to take us a little bit.
Right, so it is fun, and it's been fun to put things together. So there is a letter for us from an investigator asking us to take over the case. So now we become private investigators.
We're investigators.
And then there's the letter from the person who's asking for the investigating to happen. So then that gave us, okay, but we weren't smart and we read those last. So we went through almost everything before.
We're like, ooh, all these weird details. So there's a whole forensics report.
Oh my gosh, pictures of the dead body and everything, and a list of things that are happening, and
very exciting
items.
So exciting. I think it just makes it some of those crime scene show details that were like, oh yes, that means this, and oh, that means that.
Right? Defensive.
Yes.
And then they told us, and we were like, yes,
we knew it. We knew it. I was on top of that information.
Okay, so we were given one goal.
Just one. So this whole kit right here, our only job is
to find the murder weapon.
That's it.
And then once we do, then we go in and we use this little card information and we tell them what we think the murder weapon is.
Yeah.
Somewhere in a letter. So you get to like be creative too, and like, because we're supposed to be like downplaying it. I don't know. It'll be interesting. And then they will let us know if you're right or wrong. So if you're right, then they send you the next kit.
See, and so that's why, like, one, if you're like, I just want to try one out, you could totally do that, and you can figure out, like, in this case, the murder weapon. So I was like, okay, I like that that's our goal.
Right.
But then the next, I'm guessing, step would be, and now figure out the murderer, or whatever. So I like it. And amidst all this information, they have set up for us our own little virtual desktop where there's extra information, documents and things that we can look at. And so we can each then even log in individually and even keep our own notes there if we want.
Right, so then Charlotte gets to go home and log in and look at pictures and other things, and I can do it too. And then we can compare notes later, so we don't have to be around each other the whole time, which is kind of cool. Because then you can do it with somebody who's even like far away. Like you can call up your friend that lives in a different state to be like, hey, let's Zoom and go over all this stuff, and now you log in and I log in, and it'd be kind of cool.
Because it was fun. Like it's like it has to do with an actress who's been murdered, and so it's even from a long time ago. So that's kind of fun to see. Here's the old playbill, and here's some notes from somebody involved with it, which we don't even know whose notes they are.
I know. She does say though that the handwriting can be hard to read. It's like crazy cursive. Like some of the words
cursive,
were like,
so our children will probably be like, I can't read that.
Right. But even some of the words were like, I still don't know what that one word is.
No.
Anyways, but so they do have them typed out. She did say that she's retyped out everything. So
right. So and that's part of that little like online thing. So any of the stuff that you're like, I can't read that or whatever, just a fun thing to be like, you got old evidence. You're looking at old documents. It can be hard to look at, so it's kind of fun to see, like, can you read, like, great-grandma's writing?
Right? So, and it comes with a really cool notebook that, because this is a theater one, it tells you, like, stage left, stage right. Like, it gives you some lingo so you kind of understand what that is, and then it's just a little notebook that you can write on. Yeah. And we've written on everything already.
I like my notes everywhere, but then I'm so not organized, so we're going to work on that. But I think as we're going through and finding the nuggets, it's like, oh, circle that, that's important, it's going to come up later, so we're just trying to grab the pieces right now.
Okay, so I'm like really a lot more excited now than I first was when I opened it up to be like, oh, this is one.
I know, because kind of like
murder weapon.
Right? And I feel like having a task. Okay, so guys, we've got us a challenge, and we're gonna go and we're gonna put some time into this. We're gonna see one, like, does it take us like 2 days of looking at this stuff? Like, oh, this is obvious, the answer to this problem. Right. Or is it like a week and we kind of like have fun with it and it was worth more time? I don't know, some of those things are fun to see. How much, does this cost of time and effort put into it, does it really pay back for what you got?
But like, I like that it's something to do and it's not like staring at the TV or the computer. Like, we're going to be using it, but I'm still making my brain work and I'm doing something. So I'm really excited about that. This may be like my new obsession. I don't know.
All right, we'll come back.
I know.
But don't forget to click like and subscribe so you can keep seeing all of our fun things that we're trying out for you, because why not? Don't you want to know if this is worth doing?
Don't you want to know what the murder weapon is?
Yes, don't you need to know?
I know, we don't want to ruin it for you because I don't know. Like,
we won't tell you the answer. We'll just tell you how hard it was for us to design the answer.
And how many times we got it wrong before we got it right.
But you can do this all on your own with no help from us. That's
right?
Fine.
All right, hunt a killer. Let's go hunt one.
Let's go. So here's our update.
All right, so we thought we were awesome. I don't know. So we actually went online and logged into their like website thing that they gave us, and it's so really cool, like super impressive of like terminology. So you know all these medical terms and forensic terms, and about deciphering codes. That was really cool because we got to do a little bit of what, Sharla?
We like figured out a little cipher and used the clues from some of the notes that were given to us, and we found a hidden message. It was really fun.
It was so cool. And I like that they gave us a variety of information for us to have to figure out which code. Like,
what made sense.
Yeah, these are the most popular codes that are used, and I figured out, because we did try a couple other ones and look through things, and was like, okay, that does not make sense at all. So then we found this one, it was really awesome. So I like how they're educating us about how this process is in real life a little bit. Like, I know it's not legit, I get that. But still,
It's fun.
yeah, like I'm still feeling like I'm being educated in something, so that next time I'm watching a crime show, I'm like, I know what that cipher is. I've used it. It didn't work, but I know what it is.
Yes,
So,
yes. And
anyway.
like all the extra articles and newspaper information that was out at the time and interview stuff that had been done in the newspapers. I feel like there's still some extra information. Okay. This isn't necessarily helping us find our objective.
Right, our objective is a murder weapon, and we are stuck still trying to piece together who all the people are.
We want to know who everybody is. We want to know who wrote this stagehand notes.
Right,
we
this is driving us crazy. Who wrote that?
Who wrote that? So we figure out who all the people are and how are they connected to different people. So it's been like a really fun puzzle that way, even though that's not really our goal at the time.
So you can just like email, and you're supposed to write out an email and like just put the word in there if you think that this is what the weapon is, and then you get an automatic response. So obviously they've set up a system that just looks for that word.
Yeah,
and then
which
they
is
tell
really
you yes or no.
fast. We're not waiting for somebody to eventually get an email to get back to us. So our response has been
like 2-second response. So we've been wrong all 3 times.
all 3 times.
3 times.
But that's okay. It also means that it's not obvious, and we really do need to think a little bit more about this. And even after reading through the forensics report, I still feel like 1 or 2 of those should have been the murder weapon.
I know, and it does tell you, like, I don't know, maybe you should go back and redo that. So it does give you a little bit of a direction. Now it's the same automatic response each time, so I'm like, I've already read that!
We did that.
We're gonna go read it again, though.
Yeah.
So, we have not figured it out, but this is just our second time together, cumulatively like an hour, hour and a half?
Maybe that all together, that's maybe what we've spent on this. So, I mean, we still have obviously a lot here. I feel sometimes with it asking for such a specific thing like the murder weapon, then we really are only looking at like the forensics file. We're really only looking at the list of items that was cataloged there as our possible murder weapons, because that's kind of what they're hinting at what it should be. So I'm like, okay, so these are the most 2 important documents.
I know, but I want to know.
I know, we want to know about that.
So there is a Facebook group, and they like set up these other things so you can go on and talk to each other. So maybe tonight I'll go on to be like, this is driving me crazy. I figured out who not it is.
Yes, we have a list of knots.
So,
And then
but
possibles.
right,
Still.
but I really don't want somebody to just tell me who it is.
Right.
either.
So like, give us a direction. What sort of a hint? Or
Right.
I don't know.
So maybe, well, no, that doesn't work either. I know, like, I don't want you to spoil it for me, but I want to know.
A little bit of hinting helps. Anyways. Okay, so far this is still keeping us engaged and curious, and I love that the puzzle was something we really could do and figure out now. Even though it might not relate to the murder weapon at the time, it was still a cipher. It still gave us this clue. We were still able to go through our evidence stuff and figure that part out. So it's kind of like, okay, we're making progress, just not quite the right progress.
I know. So, and I'm still don't know how the next box comes. Like, will it come to me automatically after a certain time frame, or once I click send and they're like, yeah, you got it right? Like, will more things open up and another box come?
I don't know.
And I'm going to get charged right then? Things you need to know. So once we get it right and we figure that out, we'll let you know how that works.
We'll find out. But it's been good, and we've really enjoyed even understanding more of the clues, like some of the people and the articles that were on the newspaper kind of helped shed some more light on some of the information we already had, helping piece together some of our people. So it's been really good. It is very much a puzzle and keeps your brain thinking.
Right, I like it.
All right, so we'll be back. We're gonna keep working at it, but we're not done yet.
All right, we have not caught a killer, but we have found the murder weapon.
Oh, success! Success!
And I was a little bit terrified because I got the email last night that was like, your payment's been made. We sent you another thing. And I was like, oh, I haven't even figured out the weapon. And you're sending me. So then I was afraid that we wouldn't be able to find the weapon until I got the new stuff. And I was like, if I have to wait a whole month to get more information to find this weapon, I was going to be really upset.
Right, we've done what they asked. We went through all the clues. We created a general timeline. We're figuring things out.
Right, we deciphered codes. That was
we
so
deciphered
much fun.
a code. We've done, so it's like, because there's this extra scratch off part. If you need a clue, so we're like, okay, let's scratch it off. What are we missing? And I've joined the Facebook group, but it was just too long to get the request accepted. So
they're all sleeping.
Maybe later at our next shipment, then we'll get to use the Facebook group. But so we've tried really all the angles that they've given us to attack this question.
Right, and we were just so frustrated because we're like, nothing else on the list makes sense, like the inventory, that it would be the murder weapon. So we just started throwing out stupid things that like
We knew
but still
it's not
logically
it.
could be it. If we were missing pertinent information, it might be this. And it just wasn't. And we were getting so lost in it. So we revisited what our original thought was, and we connected the clues with some people involved, and we're very specific about what it was, and we were right. So our first guess.
All the logic we had used was right. Okay, that just confirms that we are good detectives.
We are. I was at least glad to know that we were right, and all the frustrating things, like, we just had to figure out, I guess, who it belonged to.
And really, like, by knowing that they want you to give a little bit more detail instead of just like, here's a word, here's a word, here's a word, that we're connecting these clue pieces. I think that's what makes more sense why we didn't get it the first time, and we had to kind of go through some of this process of frustration to be like, what am I missing? Because we know it was this. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I think that this is a lot of fun. It does take time.
Which is really good too. If you spent that money and you're like, oh, well, that's it, done. It's like, okay, putting all the pieces together to really understand something's going on here.
Right?
It was good.
Yeah. So super excited. So the next box should be in a little bit. So let us know if you want to see what happens with the next box.
Right.
Or
what's our next challenge?
I know. Do we get to figure out like who the person is, or the location, or the reason? I don't know.
And how many episodes is this? Like, maybe that's a good question too. So we're still figuring stuff out with it. Obviously, it's brand new, but it really is fun. I don't know if I would do it with more than 2 people.
No.
I feel like having another person to bounce your ideas off of, super helpful. Helps keep you motivated in it instead of just like giving up and walking away. Date night at home, I would say this box would be a win. If you guys like these kind of murder mystery puzzles, it's going to get your brain thinking and kind of the back history and seeing the connections and trying to figure this out. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was. So like, subscribe, follow us, and let us know if you want to see the rest of our adventure on this, or if you went out and bought one because of this.
Yay.